make a deal. And here's America's Top Trader TV's big dealer, Monty Hall.
Welcome to Critical Thinking Exercise number 2. I'm Russ Esposito, and if you've been in any of my IT classes, you've already seen Critical Thinking Exercise number 1, which was a video about the Three Stooges. And based on the popularity of that video, it's clear that the Three Stooges entertainment value is still credible today, regardless of how many generations have passed since the Three Stooges were originally conceived. And for those of you who have never seen the Three Stooges before, let's just say they don't know what microaggressions are. I'm not sure they would ever understand the concept of microaggressions. But that said, let's get back to Critical Thinking Exercise number 2. You've just seen a brief video of a very popular 1960s game show called Let's Make a Deal. And it's a simple show. The show, basically contestants come on and they essentially guess. They're given some options and they guess to win prizes. So that said, let's look at an example of how a typical show might transpire. So often what would happen in this game is they'll be presented with 3 doors and they'll be told that there's a sports car behind one of the doors and the other 2 doors have goats, literally animals, goats. And they're asked to pick one of the doors. That's step number 1 in the game. In this example, let's say the contestant picks door number 1. So that's why we have the little hand here to illustrate that it's door number 1. Now, the workers in the show, and presumably the host, know what's behind the doors. So here we have a X-ray vision. We've got the goat in number 1 and 3, and the sports cars in door number 2. Now that the contestant has picked door number 1, Monty Hall, the host of the show, exposes the contents of what's behind one of the doors. He opens door number 3 and he shows that there's a goat there. Now, the situation is a little bit different, and he asks the player, the contestant, do you want to stay with your door number 1, the door that you picked, or do you want to switch to door number 2? So now, what would you do? What is this contestant thinking? Well, what are the chances of winning by staying in door number 1? What are the chances of winning by switching to door number 2? There are 2 doors left. Presumably, it's a 50-50 chance whether you stay with door number 1 or switch to door number 2. Okay, so let's think about it. Let's think about the situation in the beginning when there were 3 doors, and now that there's 2 doors that remain, because one is obviously out of play because we know there's a goat there. So let's think about the possibilities and the probabilities that are left with these 2 situations. So on the surface, it looks like there's a 50-50 chance of winning if you pick door number 1 versus door number 2. But is that assumption correct? Let's think about that. So if you went back to the beginning of the game and looked at the situation, when you picked a door number 1 in this case, there's a 1/3 chance of winning, which means that there's a 2/3 chance of winning with the other doors. Now you know door number 3 has the goat in it, so now there's a 2/3 chance that door number 2 has the car. So you actually have a better chance of winning by switching to door number 2. It's not 50-50 because you have a 1/3 by staying with the original door and a 2/3 chance on door number 2. And let's look at the possibilities in the next slide if you're still not convinced. But some of you, I think, have already gotten this. Okay, so let's look at the possibilities. The contestant picked door number 1, and now the car could be in one of these 3 doors. It could be in door number 3, the top part of the chart on the right of this screen. The car could be in door number 2, or the car could be at the bottom in door number 1, which is what the contestant picked. So in the first situation, if the contestant switches, they're going to win because they know door number 2 has a goat, door number 3 has the car, they're going to win. In the next situation, with the cars in door number 2, door number 3 has been exposed by the host, so when they switch, they're going to win again. So they have 2 chances of winning here. Now, if they decide to stay, which is the bottom situation, they're going to win. But there's only a 1/3 chance that they can win by staying. It goes back to that statistic we saw in the very beginning. There's 3 doors. You pick one. You only have one out of 1/3 chances of winning. And in that scenario, on the bottom of the chart, the contestant would win if the contestant stayed. So they have 1 chance of winning by staying, and as you can see, they have 2 chances of winning by switching. So you do have a 2/3 chance of winning when you switch, and only a 1/3 chance if you stay. So it's not 50-50, as you can see on this slide. Let's look at it one more time with sort of an exaggerated example. If you're not convinced, I think the next slide really drives home the situation. So let's make an extreme example as just a mental experiment to understand the statistics here. So let's say we have 100 doors, and we get to pick one door. And it's indicated here as the red door. That's the door we pick. Now we have 1 out of 100 chances of winning. 1 out of 100, right? That's very clear. Now let's see what happens when the doors get exposed. So when the doors get exposed, the doors that have the goat behind it, we could see that there's one door that remains. Now that door now has a 99, not 98, but 99% chance of winning. All of the chances are in that one door now. Our door that we picked, the red door, has a 1% chance. So obviously switching to the yellow door is going to give us a 99% chance of winning, and it's to our advantage to switch. It's very clear. So what's the moral to the story? The moral to the story is that assumptions can be wrong, even common ones. Intuition can be wrong. So you need to really, I kind of like Benjamin Franklin's quote I stuck here on the side, believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. So if you look at the bottom right-hand slide, there's a head or a brain taking all the data points and all the facts, doing the analysis. So sometimes you can't go, you're just your gut or intuition or what's commonly believed. And get all the data points, do the analysis, get all the information that you can collect. Look at it from different angles. Try to understand what all the possibilities are, all the hypotheticals are, and do the analysis. So in conclusion, be curious, stay skeptical, and that'll often bring you to the right solution or to different ways of looking at the same thing. So if you like this video, click the like button below, show this video to your family and friends, and help them advance their thinking out of the box, because critical thinking is the most important thing that you can bring to any job and in your profession and in your entire life. So subscribe to the channel as well if you like, and ciao for now. Thanks for listening.